Neuheisel to a special in-studio session on the Petros and Money Show on the UCLA flagship station, AM 570K, LAC, Fox Sports LA. Welcome to our studio, Coach. What's crackin'?
You guys are living in the lap of luxury here.
It's nice.
It's nice, isn't it?
This is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, we got a pretty good thing going.
Let's do NBC.
Got a nice thing going.
Tony Bruno complains that there's not enough
bringing in
TVs.
You know, baked goods.
Yeah,
I mean, what the heck?
Make
else
yourself
do
at
you guys
home.
want?
There's cornbread.
I like
There's
everything except
cookies.
except your partner's hat, Petros. What the?
What did I-
Oh, he's got his Texas hat on. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
You mentioned 10 weeks away. My palms start to sweat. Now I'm looking up. There's the
That's
September
right. September
17th. You know, not that I keep track
Yeah.
of who we play or when or anything like that.
In my defense, Coach, I just call games around the country. I buy a hat everywhere I go. I apologize for wearing this.
He's got an Oregon State one, too, that
I
will
do.
piss you off.
That's the 24th up in Corvallis.
Stanford.
We can go through it. And 2 road games to start the Pac-12 conference schedule.
You look good, though, Coach. You
I
look
feel
rested.
good.
You look
I
ready
feel
to go.
good.
Now,
I'm undefeated in 2011. I'm ready to rumble.
don't you guys take May and June off for vacation? I mean,
No.
do you spend your time year after year going to the driving range every morning around this time of year? I mean, what do you do?
No, this is the time of year where we start next year's recruiting process. We're out, all the coaches are out doing what we call spring evaluations. And across the country, we look at all the great young juniors, seniors to be, and then make the determinations as to who we're going to really lock in on, and then the recruiting process gets started. Then in the month of June, we come back and kind of consolidate all that information and process it, and then get started with game planning for the beginning and planning of fall camp. And then after June, we also have some camps, really important camps, one-day camps where kids come and kind of show off for us and on our campus. And then in July, we try to go recruit our families, see if they'll jump back into this crazy carousel we call football. And then August, we go back to the dungeon. Away we go.
And since you're already in that, going through that process now, it seemed like, whether it was the zipper, who was going to be in the North, who was going to be in the South, the new teams that were added to the Pac-12 were allegedly adamant that they be put in the South with UCLA, USC. Have you seen that impact, those 2 new schools joining the Pac-12 conference out on the recruiting trail?
No, I don't think so. Because they were always big players in the state of California anyway. Both Utah and Colorado. Having been a head coach at Colorado in my life, I know how vital California recruiting is to Colorado, and so they were players anyway. But I think it will help them that they're in the conference and that they'll get to play their games here, because obviously that's a selling point to their moms and dads.
Rick Neuheisel joining us right now. It's the Petros and Money Show on AM 570 KLAC, Fox Sports LA. Here in studio, Coach Neuheisel looking good. Now, what did you learn about your team in spring ball, especially at the quarterback position, where juniors Richard Breho and Kevin Prince are both experienced, and true freshmen who look pretty confident out there just going in and out of the huddle? And from what I saw, Brett Hundley was trying to get acclimated. It seemed like the team this spring, and I don't know if this comes across well, but it seemed like they were a happy team. Coming on the field, coming off the field, it seemed like guys were confident and feeling pretty good about who they were and where they were.
Well, I think our team likes each other. We don't have a lot of rifts on the team. I think everybody kind of likes one another. I think they were excited about my comments to them early in January that this was all going to be about competition. No one was going to have a job. I think they were excited about taking the field with that chance and with that in mind. So I thought we got great effort in this spring football. I really did. I thought our guys played their tails off. The disappointment was that Jeff Baca got hurt. We lost him with a broken ankle early in spring practice, and he had not been able to participate in the fall. So, and we were counting on him. I think we'll have him back before we start conference play, maybe earlier, but certainly by conference play, and he's an important piece to it. Getting back to your question about the quarterbacks, I think the quarterback competition is a great one right now, and the fact that there is competition will be healthy for everybody. It's difficult to make a determination as to who the starter is right now because Kevin Prince wasn't able to practice. Kevin Prince has more experience than any of them. Kevin Prince is really, really a savvy player in terms of knowing what to do under the center and getting us into the right plays. But he hasn't reached that level of consistency that we're looking for in terms of his accuracy. But if he can come back and have a great summer and bring all that to the table, then he'll be tough to beat. Richard Breho, came in, and when Kevin went down, and I thought did a number of good things. I saw improvement in the spring. Now, to me, he has to embrace the whole thing and how badly he wants this. and I'm looking forward to seeing just that from him. And then you mentioned Brett Hundley. I thought Brett Hundley for his first, I mean, he literally left spring ball to go home to his prom.
Right.
I mean, this
You
is
gave him
not-
a practice off for that?
No.
See, I wouldn't have.
Practice was over. The next week he went home for the prom. So that's how young he is. But he showed that this is not too big for him. And the thing that I liked most about him, Petros, was when he made mistakes, which you knew were inevitable, he came right back and made a play after. It was never too big for him. And so I just believe that he's got a really, really bright future.
Now, obviously, throwing the ball is going to come for him. He's a very young guy and learning a passing offense. Like you said, he was a senior in high school running around out there with you guys. And I've seen a lot of young guys come in that situation at the quarterback position. Matt Barkley, one of them. USC had 2 this last spring as well. And
it's becoming more and more the thing to do with these quarterbacks.
yeah, the kid did it at Arizona State, Michael Bercovici. But the one thing that really impressed me about Hundley is he really had a lot of confidence. I mean, just coming in and out of the huddle, he had confidence. And when he took off and ran, I mean, he really looked like he could take off and run. And it's college football. Why not?
And that's the thing that we don't know, because we don't tackle our own quarterbacks. You know, we don't. That's just not prudent to do. You don't want to get guys hurt in spring ball. But there were a number of times in watching the film, you have to make a case that they might not have tackled Brett. And so I think he's got some real gifts with his legs. I think he's got some real savvy, as we've talked about. And the other thing, you mentioned his confidence. It was the right kind of confidence.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bravado. It wasn't a, hey, look at me, I'm the hotshot new guy. It was, he wanted to be a teammate. He wanted to be one of the guys, but he also, as I said earlier, it wasn't too big for him.
It looked like he wasn't scared to make mistakes.
Wasn't scared to make mistakes is a great way to say it. And he's a very popular kid on the team. Very popular kid.
Coach, you mentioned open competition, but the way that Kevin Prince lost his job last year due to injury, if you were to have a depth chart, is he on top? Is Kevin Prince the number one?
If Kevin Prince comes back and, as I said, is consistent, is doing all the things that we need Kevin Prince to do, then he'll be tough to beat, because he does have more experience than anybody else. But I want everybody to know the job's open. And that's what I've said to Richard Breho, that's what I've said to Brett Hundley, and that's what's going to make all 3 of them a better player.